So thank you everybody for joining. I'm with Christina, who is one of our moms from not Tampa, Florida, from
Wesley Chapel.
Wesley Chapel,
It's
Florida.
close to Tampa.
Okay. And you joined us how long ago? Like
it'll be a year in July.
Right.
Not quite a year.
All right, a year in July. And I think that, you have such an incredible story. And so thank you so much for sharing it with you, because this is going to go out to moms who might be thinking is like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can do it. I don't have the money to invest in this. So I wanted to ask you some questions about your experience, because
Sure.
we were talking before this and you said like, my path was not like a whoo in the sky.
No.
It was quite the opposite. So why don't you tell me like where you were, what life was like when you first joined their program?
So when I first even heard about this program, my life was interesting to say the least. But overall, I was looking for something that would help me make changes that were going to help my kids. Both with my stress level at work and what I did at home. I needed a physical outlet. I needed extra money. I needed to be able to provide for my kids on my own, because I knew there were big changes coming for me. And it's one of those things where like, if you wait until you're ready, you're never ready. So you're never going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of heard about this, and the first time that I talked to you, I knew instantly. I knew instantly. I had been searching for a program for a while that would let me serve kids. My own children have been through a lot. Their dad's very sick and does not lead a healthy lifestyle at all. And I'd been searching for a way to give them the choices that he didn't make and to show them that there was an alternative. But I didn't know what that was or how to create it.
Right.
So I found it created for me.
Well, sometimes that's how life works, right? Like
Yes.
there's a saying, like I'm sure there's an English also, but it's like if Muhammad doesn't go to the mountain will go to Muhammad.
Yes.
So same thing. Okay, so then you joined us. What was the scariest part of joining us? Because your husband was ill.
Mm-hmm.
Your kids were a little bit older. They weren't elementary school kids or like
Correct.
early elementary, like most of our moms. So what was like, what was the scary part of doing it?
It was two things, actually. The first one was, what if I do this and I fail?
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was, how on earth am I going to afford this?
Okay.
Both of them. But it's, like I said, it's kind of like having kids. If you wait until you're ready, or you wait until you have the money, you'll never do it. And there came a point where I really had to embrace that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always had.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I needed to do something different. And what better way to motivate yourself than to make it work?
Awesome. Okay.
Than to be on the hook.
Yes, and on the hook you were, my dear. And
I
you
was
so good about it. So then you joined the program, and things did not go quite as planned when you started. So, okay, can you talk a little, not necessarily about like what happened, but like what were you thinking? You're like, oh my God, I just made this investment and things aren't going my way.
Yes, life got in my way. I got very overwhelmed, which now knowing what I know, I could have prevented, but I didn't.
Hindsight's
always exactly. But the main thing was I didn't quit. I knew it was the right thing to do. And it's very true what you learn in the mindset training, that the universe will find a way to make it work. It's not always the path you originally thought you were going to be on, but there is a way and it will happen for you. You have to be consistent. You have to be willing to put in the work. And beyond that, it will fall into place.
Okay.
So I didn't always believe that. Life happened. I got sidetracked. I thought I would have had a program up and running in 6 weeks flat. And took a little longer than that.
All right. But then you got there and like your program is amazing.
It took off.
It
really took off. And once it took off, it was very easy to keep it going because it was the ego boost that you need, that, hey, maybe I can really do this. Um, and it's easy, it gets easier to talk about.
Right. So now where are you? Because it's a year later. Like, what is your program looking like?
So I was supposed to do, starting the spring semester, I was supposed to do 6 middle schools twice a week.
That's awesome.
Well, it is, except then all this happened.
Right.
And
COVID, right?
so yes, the COVID quarantine isolation happened. And instead of just being limited to those 6 schools, I now have 10.
Oh my gosh.
And it's actually part of their physical fitness curriculum this time around, because the school didn't know how they were going to incorporate the kids who had a PE requirement. So it actually expanded into that. And then in the fall, I have as many schools in the district as I want to take on, because they're figuring they'll be back in school by then.
Uh-huh.
So I'm actually recruiting for staff now to help me, because I don't have enough hands anymore. It's different when you can do it online than to do in person, only because you don't have to travel, so you have more hours available to you to be able to do a few more classes.
Right.
But I have some of the moms who are helping me now that are interested in taking on a middle school here or an elementary there, because they really want me to do all the middle school after school and all the elementary after school.
Christina, that's amazing.
I know, I'm so excited.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So when you look at yourself now, like now you are your own, like when I met you, you were working for somebody else in this really difficult situation. Now, not only are you a business owner, but you are a successful business owner, and you have a quality problem, right? Because
I do.
it's still a problem.
It's a scaling problem, yeah.
That most people want to have is, how do I grow from here? So how do you feel having made this 180 transition of coming into your own self?
Right now, I feel like this is where I was meant to be. And it is not a chore to go to work. I mean, it's still a job, and you have to approach it that way because it still takes discipline, and you still have to prepare, and you still have to put time into it. But I enjoy it. And I get to work with people that I choose to work with, not with people I have to work with.
Right.
That makes a big difference too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Makes me happy.
Let me guess, you wake up with joy.
I do. I do.
Well, that's the thing. It's possible. And it's possible,
It is.
You know, when you are able to have your program outdoors, it's possible in times of pandemics, and like, it's possible when you are in your purpose.
Yes.
You know?
Sometimes you have to be a little creative, because you'll find that something doesn't work that you thought was going to be a brilliant idea. It doesn't work at all.
Right.
So you have to be flexible, and you have to be creative, and you just have to give yourself a little bit of grace. It'll happen.
Thank you. I think that's the best advice, you know, that if it doesn't happen right away, like, don't give up, because
Exactly.
You know, around the corner can be your gold. If somebody that's listening to you is not in our program yet, but it's just kind of thinking, it's like, well, I don't know, I'm thinking about it, what would be your advice to that mom?
You found this program for a reason. They listened to the pitch for a reason. And you need to believe in yourself enough to you have to take a leap of faith at some point. You have to. And I think that in terms of all of this, and in all the opportunities I've looked at, there really is no safer place to fall. Because you're not going to let them fail.
No, I'm not.
It may take a longer period of time, but it's the truth. I mean, you've gotten random text messages from me like, I'm in panic. What do I do now? But really, I think that you need to trust what brought you to this, because you came to it for a reason, whether that's you're a stay-at-home mom and you don't want to do extra childcare, and you need some extra cash, or, you know, the roadmap is there. It's like playing Candyland. You can't win if you don't get on the path.
Oh, that's a good one. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Christina, for sharing your experience with with me and with the moms. I'm so like I see you, I can't stop smiling. Because
Me neither.
it's so cool. Like gosh, it's so wonderful to see where you are today, and so congratulations.
Thank
Because
you.
from here it's only gonna get bigger and better. So, all right, I'm excited for your journey. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right.